All right, we're going to carry on with the 12 characteristics of the antisocial personality again from this booklet I'm reading here, The Cause of Suppression by L. Ron Hubbard, based on the works of L. Ron Hubbard. And this is the third video where we have been covering the 12 different characteristics of the antisocial personality so that you can identify them. Mind you, we've only got to the first 2 points, and here's point number 3. The antisocial personality alters to worsen communication when he or she relays a message or news. All right, you get that. So if they're going to pass along some news or a message, the antisocial personality will alter the message or news to be worse. Good news is stopped, and only bad news, often embellished, is passed along. Such a person also pretends to pass on quote-unquote bad news, which, in actual fact, is invented. All right, let's cover that one more time. The antisocial personality alters to worsen communication when he or she relays a message or news. Good news is stopped, and only bad news, often embellished, is passed along. Such a person also pretends to pass on quote-unquote bad news, which is in actual fact invented. All right, that's pretty self-explanatory. Let's go on to the next point. 4. A characteristic and one of the sad things about an antisocial personality is that it does not respond to treatment or reform. All right, these people, unlike most other people in the world who can have a bad day and recover, or can go through a period of depression and come out the other end of it, these people, they are that way, and they don't change. They don't respond to reform. They don't respond to education. They don't respond to treatment. They're just stuck that way. And that's all we're going to say about that. Point number 5. Surrounding such a personality, we find cowed or ill associates or friends. Now, let's cover that word cowed. That's not a common word. When a person is cowed, that means they're sort of backed off. They're sort of introverted and under the influence of someone else. They bend their will, or their will is bent to this other person. They're at effect, you might say. They're not very strong, self-determined, and forthcoming. They are backed off and at effect. Well, the antisocial personality has that effect on people. So let me finish that. Surrounding such a personality, the antisocial personality, we find cowed or ill associates, ill meaning sick, or friends who, when not driven actually insane, are yet behaving in a crippled manner in life, failing and not succeeding. Such people make trouble for others. When treated or educated, the near associate of the antisocial personality has no stability of gain, but promptly relapses or loses his advantages of knowledge, being under the suppressive influence of the other. So those who aren't actually antisocial personalities, when under the influence, can be treated, can be made to improve, but if they're still under the influence and in the vicinity of the antisocial personality, they relapse. They don't maintain their stability of gain. Physically treated, such associates commonly do not recover in the expected time, but worsen and have poor convalescences. So the period of time for recovery from an actual illness or an accident tends to be longer. It is quite useless to treat or help or train such persons so long as they remain under the influence of the antisocial connection. It's one of those things, unfortunately, where it's, one step forward, three steps back. Now, if you get them separated from, disconnected from, away from the antisocial personality, well, now you can treat them, and now they'll have some stability of improvement. So, mind you, the point is, when remaining in the vicinity and under the control and influence of an antisocial personality, you get these effects, people. I'm sure you've seen it in friends and family. All right? The largest number of insane are insane because of such antisocial connections and do not recover easily for the same reason. All right, let's see. Yes. Unjustly, we seldom see the antisocial personality actually in an institution. Only his friends and family are there. And that's an interesting fact. You think the crazies are all in the quote-unquote insane asylums. Actually, the real crazies usually aren't. Now, they can be there, but these institutions are mainly full of people who were affected by and driven crazy by the real crazy people who remain out there in society, spreading their disaffection and chaos everywhere. Gotta wrap this one up, but I wanted to make a point. This whole idea of people not doing well and being sick and so forth because of being in the vicinity of an antisocial might be a new datum for you, and it might be a little hard to swallow. So let's take a look at this and remind you that an antisocial personality isn't necessarily, a guy wearing a black hat, an evil-looking guy, isn't even necessarily a bully. That's not how you identify them. Now, bullies are often antisocials, but you see, an antisocial is determined by these characteristics that we're talking about, and nothing else. It could be a little old lady who seems a kindly, sweet old lady. You see what I mean? It can be a kindly old grandfather. It can be a 5-year-old kid. It could be a meek and mild-mannered newspaper delivery boy. I mean, all walks of life, all levels of intelligence. The thing that sets them apart are these characteristics. And the characteristics are things you are familiar with. You are familiar with in your own life. It's depicted on TV and in the movies all of the time. You know those characters. Those ones with a big smile, so happy to see you, and they're holding a knife behind their back. You see Hollywood and hell, going all the way back to Shakespeare. I mean, writers and artists throughout history have recognized and depicted these people. And what they do, while they can seem to be looking out for your best interests and very often say that that's what they're doing, they are actually, in small ways, constantly cutting you down. The little snide comments, the little misunderstood thing, they said something and all of a sudden you felt bad and introverted, you felt smaller, and maybe you don't want to, maybe your accomplishment wasn't as big as you thought it was, and maybe you're kind of stupid after all. If you can be doing well in life and somebody makes a comment that makes you feel like that, well, now maybe you know what you're looking at. And those people who are really messed up in life and really sick and really not doing well, they might have had one of these personalities close to them. It could have been a brother, a mother, a father, a friend. Close to them all their lives. And all their lives they were chopped and cut down to size with these little comments, these little helpful suggestions, these little actions. And they wind up eventually in a condition where they are in very poor spiritual condition, very poor physical condition, and very often highly depressed and even a bit crazy, if not totally. It is that relationship with the antisocial that causes these conditions, and that is a new datum. And we can go over it some more later, but I just wanted to make that point, and we're going to have to carry on with the rest of these points, which would be points 6 through 12 in the next couple of 3 videos. See you then.